Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily NVIDIA report for Tuesday, August 19th, 2025. Just a reminder, as if you needed reminding, if you've been watching the series now for the last few weeks, you know that we are in a long-term buy signal as of almost 2 weeks ago when we closed clearly above this 179.30 2.5-year channel top by a required 1% margin. There's been a lot of hesitation here and just kind of waiting. I will say waiting, in my opinion, for the triple Q to do the same. That is, the NASDAQ 100 has been merely testing its own version of the same exact structure and holding. In other words, it is yet to actually close above its 2.5-year channel top. And if or when it does, the two are then in lockstep on a longer-term buy signal. NVIDIA then likely, and I actually think if you're looking at just an NVIDIA chart, you do have to be long this stock right now, expecting 219.64 over the next 2 or 3 months. It's just that if the triple Q can follow through and close above its respective formation, I think that is the pull-away factor for NVIDIA in the coming weeks. Until then, if we happen to fall away and close the week below, well, we've got 179.30 on the weekly chart. I'll get to 178.16 in a moment, but it would be a settlement below this area that would begin to reek of a buy signal rejection, which is in itself a valid sign of longer-term weakness. So if we close the week itself back below 179.30, I will begin talking about the upper 140s as an actionable 2 to 3 month downside objective. Before I jump into more analysis, I do want to mention that on Monday, wickedstocks.com did put out a stock pick on Sunrun Incorporated. They're an American provider of photovoltaic systems and battery energy storage products. They're heavily, obviously, into the solar power industry. You can check that stock pick out by going to wickedstocks.com and taking advantage of our 5-day free trial. We provide on all of our stock picks our recommended entry points, our stop loss levels, and our targets. They tend to be moving targets because many times they're line studies. But in this particular stock pick, we see a pretty solid 30% rally if we get the stock pick or if we get the buy signal, and we're very close to that right now. You can see that for free by going to wickedstocks.com and taking advantage of that 5-day free trial. You'll also see a handful of other stock picks that are still relevant, still on the edge of being elicited. And so you can make note of all of them. And you'll get all that information for free. Also, our daily triple Q and our daily SPY analysis. I don't think I'd trade NVIDIA as a swing trader unless I also had the triple Q at my disposal. And the daily SPY report, weekly Apple stock analysis, obviously, and the S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100. So I've covered the big picture now. Let's continue with the upside. We do have 182.11 today. I have that as a soft intraday pivot point. If we happen to push or open perhaps above 182.11, we could see 186.39 today. This descending channel top at the top of a move is a setup as a buy signal once you violate it. A lot of people act early on those channel tops. And then the market begins to fall away from the channel top at 182.11. I'm not expecting that because we're still in the midst of a long-term buy signal above that 179.28 structure on the daily chart. So pushing or opening above 182.11 does allow 186.39 intraday. If we close today above 182.11, I would expect 186.39 within the week if we don't see it today. And just a reminder that the 2 to 3 week time frame obviously remains bullish above 179.30, the long-term channel top, 193.02, likely over the next 2 to 3 weeks. If over the next few days we close above 186.39, we should by the end of next week reach 193.02. Onward and upward, here's the daily chart again. You've got 193.02. If over the next week or two we can close above 193.02, then the 202.97 4-month channel top is likely over the following 2 to 3 weeks, which actually by early September converges anyway with 219.64, which is our longer term 2 to 3 month target that I outlined at the beginning of this video. video. And so, as I've said before, I don't see that channel top at 202.97 is necessarily going to be in reach by the time we reach 219.64. What am I saying? It's rising at such a steep pace that it will exceed 219.64 over the next month. And so it really is 219.64 that we can focus on.
If you're finding value in this analysis, it's only a glimpse of what we offer. Your real trading edge starts at wickedstocks.com. Each week, premium members receive 2 high-probability stock picks. Each one comes with a complete trade plan, including exact entry, profit target, stop loss, and regular updates so you can manage the trade with confidence. You'll also get daily video analysis in the top traded markets, the SPY, the Triple Q, and NVIDIA, highlighting the key price levels, trends, and trade setups we're focused on. Whether you're day trading or swing trading, these insights help you zero in on the highest quality opportunities with clarity. Try it all free for 5 days. Cancel at any time.
Let's talk downside. I do have obviously the 179.30 channel top, the 2.5-year structure as a base of support. And I also have right up behind it, right underneath is 178.16 that I'm going to call the slippage factor for the day. If we were to close below 179.30 today, I don't see that as a sell signal during the week. What I would see as a sell signal through the rest of the week would be a settlement today below 178.16. So I'm combining the two right now because they are so close. If we were to fall away today and close below 178.16, and there doesn't appear to be any inclination for that right now, but if so, if we do close Tuesday below 178.16, we continue south. This is actually a different structure slightly. Let me jump to this one. We do continue south by Friday's close to 172.66. So if I can say that one more time, closing today below 178.16 does indicate this narrowing zone of meaningful support between 168.11 and 172.66 by Friday's close. This area is narrowing gradually, able to contain selling on a weekly basis. And it can create a lot of hesitation here on what could be, I'm kind of walking through once again the scenario here that if we do close this week, Friday, back below 179.30, if you are long the market now on a longer term basis, 2 to 3 month basis, you may consider exiting entirely and just letting this thing play out. You could then have at it again, if you like, at 168.11 to 172.66. But I do think that under the scenario, as I said at the beginning of this video, that if we close below 179.30 this week, that channel top in the Triple Q is holding and will continue to hold. And so then the two are in lockstep on likely bearish rotation. And as far as NVIDIA is concerned, 149.41 would become a 2 to 3 month target, knowing that on the way down, this 168.11 to 172.66 region can give the market trouble. In other words, can contain weekly selling pressures. And from here, we can round back up into the upper 170s, the low 180s again within a week or two. Finally, it would be a settlement below 168.11 over the next few weeks that would clarify 149.41 as a clear-cut 3 to 5 week downside objective. So what becomes attainable within 2 to 3 months of closing below 179.30, I'm talking 149.41, becomes expected within 3 to 5 weeks of closing below 168.11. Now, I did show this descending channel bottom a moment ago. I do want to mention it. If we break 178.16 today, which is once again this rising channel bottom, and I'm talking to aggressive day traders now. I'm really not talking to any real swing traders on a 3 to 5 day basis, but breaking 178.16 today does signal 177.27. But I do think if we close today below 178.16, you can expect over the next 3 to 5 days this narrowing 168.11 to 172.66 region. So you could play the short side on a 3 to 5 day basis and take profits in this narrowing zone of support between 168.11 and 172.66. But just know once again that if we close Friday below 179.30, I do think the broader market, and that would include obviously the NASDAQ 100 and the Triple Q, is prone, increasingly so really, to bearish rotation into the fourth quarter, 149.41, a 2 to 3 month target, and that accelerates to within 3 to 5 weeks of then closing below this important 5 month channel bottom at 168.11. I think I've covered it all. Please click like, share, subscribe. I'll be back, of course, tomorrow with Wednesday's NVIDIA report. You have a great day.